Welcome back to Two Witches Talking. I'm Megan, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's hot here. It's
Yep.
106 today, supposedly.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep cool as much as I possibly can.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets so hot out there. Like I was
Yeah.
there in October, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is a lot."
hmm Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. We're considerably cooler. We're 77, but it is mostly cloudy and it's kind of drizzly off and on. So it's humid. It's very sticky,
Okay.
but it's in the 70s, so which is really nice. Our hot weather always comes later in the year, though. It's like by right after July 4th, and then through beginning of October is our really hot season.
See, that's our
So,
monsoon season. So that's when I
oh,
love it because we get rain,
hmm
so it's humid, but
hmm
unfortunately it's still in like the high 90s, low 100s with the
yeah,
rain. So, but I like the rain.
yeah.
That's I just miss it. So like you just said 77 and like drizzly and I'm like, "Oh God, that's perfect."
It's just so
Yeah.
humid, like inside your house and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say I save money on moisturizer living here, but wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm good. It's been a really good week. And I don't know, like the kids are all off school for us. And so it's the summer vibe. Like,
Mhm.
even if you don't have kids in school anymore, like me, like both of us, like it's still that summer vibe
Mhm.
of like just chilling out and a little looser schedule and all that. So, kind
Yeah,
of loving it.
definitely. Yeah.
Kind of loving it. Yeah. Well, I'm excited about our conversation today because it was inspired by a listener. And
Yay.
they have given me full permission to read this on the air. So thank you so much. You know who you are. And this inspired today's topic. So I'll just read this real quick. And it's in response to episode 11, which was our deities episode. And they said, I have a few questions after listening to the episode. I feel like I've got a lot of divine creatures surrounding me, such as dragons, but mostly non-humans. I generally just trust humans. Ever since I was a child, I felt a powerful connection to animals, making communication with them more comfortable. Anyway, phoenixes have been showing up in my life outside of the June IGC box, which is a funny story that I won't get into. I want to work with deities, and I have worked with a few here and there. Freya, Cerridwen, Brigid, and of course, Hecate are the goddesses. More recently, I opened myself to Jesus as a deity, not a Christian thing. I say that last sentence while dripping in shame because I was raised pagan. I'm so embarrassed to be working with the ultimate Christian deity, Jesus. However, Morgan working with Mary Magdalene allowed me to open to working with him because he came to me a few times before I was open to what he had to offer. He's a very soft and gentle presence which vibes with me because I don't do well with aggressive male energy. Is that weird? It's Jesus, for Christ's sake, lol. Nonetheless, I've come to the conclusion that there isn't anything wrong with me or my witchcraft practice. Phew. But if you two could talk about divine creatures and animal magic, that would be lovely. I just love that message. So thank you so much for sending that in. And the reason I wanted to read it aloud to everyone with permission is that, I imagine this person is not the only one out there that's like, really? Jesus? Seriously? Or, any other divine presence. Because sometimes they just pop into our lives and it doesn't make sense to our logical brain at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But in the spirit of honoring this request, we're talking about divine creatures, animal magic, mythical animals, all of that. And we have surprised one another again. Because we were talking about it. We're like, I don't know. I bet we know like all the same ones. So I don't know about you, Morgan, but I went out and I was like, give me some weird stuff or some animals that aren't like your typical like owl and snake and raven, like what can we talk about? So I'm excited for what we're going to share with each other.
Me too. I went
Yeah.
the more mythical route. So I don't
Okay.
know if you went more animal or more
I did
mythical.
I did a combination. I did a couple
Okay.
of mythical and then a couple of actual animals, and I have my own animal magic story too. And I think you do too. Did you want to share that too? Okay,
yeah,
cool. Well, what do you have to start us off with?
Well, I just want to. So the person that sent us the email mentioned phoenixes. Mm-hmm. So just for those listening, phoenixes can be worked with for rebirth magic, rising from the ashes. So if you feel like you've, hit a really dark part of your life, or a low vibe part of your life, or whatever you want to call it, or you're struggling to get through something, that's how phoenixes can be worked with. And so I think that was a great place to start, just because they had mentioned phoenixes. And working with animals, mythical creatures, deities, all of it is just about working with their energy and honoring them, and respecting them and their entities. I also just, coming off of the email too, I think it is a part of the journey, especially if you come from Christianity and move over to paganism, or come from one belief path into another one. I think you swing for a while, like into the exact opposite, which is what I did. Yeah. So like, oh, no Mary Magdalene, no Jesus, all Christian deities, and it's on your journey that you kind of swing back to the middle, and you realize that everything's energy. So, and it's all symbolism as well. So if something resonates with you on a symbolic level, it doesn't matter where they come from, or if they're real, or if they're quote unquote fake, or, if they're extinct, or if they never existed and you completely made it up. Like, it's all about energy. It's all about symbolism. So that's where I think we get to have a lot of fun in witchcraft, because when you grasp that concept, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, so true. I know. It's awesome. Yeah. I love that. Well, so what's interesting about that is one of the mythical creatures that I found, let me move my stuff around, is the sacred phoenix mother. It is called Smurg. She is a Persian mythical bird said to live for thousands of years, and she is incredibly wise and nurturing, and she is one of the cosmic forces of healing and integration. So she aligns with ancestral healing, divine feminine sacred wisdom, rebirth, again, the phoenix mother. So and I looked up the pictures, and it is like a phoenix with kind of like a human-ish face. But she carries with her a lot of the same qualities as the more traditional phoenix myth that we understand. So, and yeah, just to kind of add to that too, like she's all about spiritual elevation, which the phoenix itself is as well. So I thought that was really cool. I had never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either. That's really cool.
I know. I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, and I pulled up as well because I'm the big astro witch around here, and I was like, how about the centaur? And the centaur is a little more well known, but Chiron is one of the, I almost said satellites. That's not right.
Is it asteroids?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. In our solar system, and it is named after Chiron, the wounded healer. So like when that asteroid shows up in your chart, or when it's like really interacting with the moon at a particular time, that's a signal for us to work on ourselves. And beyond that, Chiron was the wisest teacher in the very wise population that is the centaurs. The centaurs are known for their wisdom, for their healing through knowledge, for their intuition, sacred movement, that sort of thing. And he was the wisest teacher among them in mythology. So we can really tap into his energy to help us understand some of our shadows, help us understand where we need to heal, and really kind of connect with our bodies in a very intuitive way. So I thought he was somebody really cool to mention. So
and centaurs are half human, half horse?
Yeah, they're the half human, half horse. So it's like human,
Up
horse.
horseback. Okay. Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, where are the parts?
Okay.
Yeah. Those are a couple of mine. What have you got?
So I wrote down, even though I did like a lot of research on other ones, I did write down right before we got started, I had forgot to include angels, because that's another one where I think, coming from Christianity and then coming into paganism, you're like, angels, no. You know,
Right.
But then, you know, once you realize it's all energy, that's another one where, of course, my mom has me, or she wants me every morning to petition Archangel Michael for protection, you know, and me and the family and all that. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I have my own thing to do for that. But it was very interesting. I was told in a tarot reading one time in Sedona, that Archangel Zadkiel was my archangel guide. And I'm like, okay. And it was one of those things that I wrote down, you know, and like kind of researched a little bit. This was years ago. It was like pre-pandemic, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where I kind of just let sit on the back burner, you know, for like ever. And even to this day, like it stays in the back of my mind that Archangel Zadkiel is supposedly, you know, or I was told by a tarot reader that that's one of my angel guides. And it's nothing that I like slough off, but it's nothing that I've actively worked with either. But I do acknowledge at least the presence of angels. They're just another type of guide or another type of energy. Especially the seraphim, you know, the creative, muse-like, you know, order of angels. I think those probably are pretty interactive in your daily lives if you're some kind of creator, you know. But that's another one of those beings that I don't associate them with fairies. That's like a completely different thing. You know, they are their own thing. But I think that they can often get misconstrued as well as like a Christian offset, when I think that if you were to go back in several different lores, there's some kind of winged guardian beings in so many different cultures that calling them angels is associated with Christianity, but they're just winged guardians and protectors of, I mean, different aspects of life, but protectors of, you know, energy, different types of energy and higher powers and things like that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned angels. I've not had any experience per se with like the archangels, but one of my main spirit guides is a being with huge wings. And he is quite the imposing figure. I've had some healers like take me on, you know, journeys and stuff, and they're like, could you check in to see who's here with us? Because, and I'm like, is it a little dark? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, that's so and so, blah, 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 you know, all the things. Which is funny. But yeah, when I think, and people will laugh, and I hope you laugh, when I think about archangels, I can't help but think of the movie Dogma.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I can't not think about Dogma.
That's one of my favorite movies, by the way.
I love that movie so much.
It's one of my favorites, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go for the theater re-release in July.
I could not convince you know what, maybe I should just buy the tickets. I know.
There you go. Just do it.
Because I could not convince Colin, which just side note, we're the people that paid for the advance tickets of the Jay and Silent Bob, was it reboot movie? So we were one of like 30 people in a theater. We got posters for it and everything because we're huge Kevin Smith fans. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm just going to buy the ticket. So it is in July, isn't it? It's not. I didn't miss it. Okay, good.
No, not yet. So
I don't have to do that because I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies ever.
It's the best. I love it so much. And you know what's interesting about that particular movie? We have it on DVD because it was like caught up in that whole like Harvey Weinstein thing.
Yep.
And the DVD will go missing in our house periodically. It's the one DVD that will do that. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, it'll be in a place that none of us moved it to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, it would be Dogma.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to mention, just kind of jumping off of your angel thing too, is that there are quote unquote demons as well. That, and I use that term lightly because in Christianity and Judaism, like, that's a very heavy, like, evil word. And when you look beyond those two particular religions, it's actually just another spirit. And so it's like Lilith, right, is like a Jewish demon, and she's kind of been adopted into some Christianity and stuff. But it's like, think about why she was demonized, right? And she's standing up to the patriarchy and all that. So, and for a long time, it was like my Christian upbringing and all that. I would kind of go, oh gosh, you work with a demon. Oh, that's terrible. I can't do that. And over time, I've learned that things are not as institutions would have you think they are, right? So, you can work with angels, you can work with demons, all kinds of things.
I think it takes people too sometimes. I just recently, within the last couple of years, really understood, and still don't truly understand it, but ceremonial magicians work with demons a lot. And demons are just basically, they're deities or like somebody that they work with, but they work with them for different things like protection and, putting up wards around the house and things like that. But it takes, so I met a couple of people who work with demons, and at first you're like, oh, they've got to be weird.
Right.
And then they turn out, you can sit and have amazing conversations with them on, anything, religion, philosophy. I mean, just, and they're the most amazing people ever. And so you start to shed that was what it was for me, it was just a misunderstanding, or a lack of knowledge, And until you meet somebody that is like, oh yeah. And then from that point forward, it was really weird because for the last year, I've met so many people that work with demons, and it's still not something, it's just, for me, I've never dove too much into it.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I've even said on a past episode, like, when I've had deities call out to me, I'm like, y'all, I'm full. Okay. Like, I'm good right now. Like you had told me one time, Psyche came through, and I'm like, okay, I will put some stuff up. I will look into it. But man, y'all, I got a lot,
Yep.
So it's just the thought of working with more.
Right.
It's just one of those things. But I actually know a lot of people that work with demons, and they're not evil, quote unquote evil people. They're not horrible. They're not sacrificing kittens and all this stuff. And it if I were to look into it more, I'd probably, I'm just very accepting of everything. So I'm like, yeah, you want to work with demons? I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to look it up, actually, like on my screen here, because I'd heard this multiple times many years ago. And in the same way, like, I started learning from people like on TikTok or Instagram and learning more about like what that really is. And the word demon in English comes from daemon in Greek, which literally means deity, divine power, or guardian spirit. It's neutral.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Yep.
So, and it could be even like souls of the dead. So, past individuals, all that. So, from the Greek standpoint. So, yeah, it's cool. So I pulled up a couple of just kind of fun, off the beaten path animals. Before we transition into animals, were there any other mythical or divine beings that you researched?
I did. I just wanted to bring up, because I did the normal ones, or the popular ones, but then I wanted to dive into my region because I thought that was cool shit.
Oh, I love that.
So I just wanted to point out unicorns, just because unicorns represent pure magic. That is something from Charmed that is true. So I don't know if anyone remembers the episode of Charmed where the magic was shut down, but the elders had sent them a little unicorn, and if you shave some of the unicorn horn, that's pure magic. It's just fun. I just love that. But unicorns also divine feminine, spiritual cleansing, psychic development, all of that. So unicorns are just super fun to work with.
I love them.
And then we here in the Southwest, we have chupacabras.
Yep. Yep.
And okay, so I'm just gonna read because I was just like, I'm gonna look up what's in my region.
I love that.
It is a creature of Latin American folklore, often demonized, but layered in metaphor. The chupacabra is a predator of livestock, yes, but also a symbol of energetic drainage and psychic vampirism. Call on this creature for protection magic, boundary setting, and to help you identify what or who is leeching your energy.
Oh,
I didn't know that either.
That's interesting. Well, that makes me think kind of like vampire energy. Like you could tap into the vampire essence for, I don't know, draining an energy. It feels like some good baneful magic to work with the chupacabra.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I just love that. And I don't even know. Look, I'm not even sure what the hell a chupacabra is. Like as far as physically, like what a chupacabra is supposed to be. But I just know that here in the Southwest, you hear it all over the place. We also have supposedly wendigos or skinwalkers as well, which were I think everyone found out about those on the Supernatural, because the TV show, because there was quite a few episodes that dealt with wendigos or wendigos, or which are also skinwalkers. But depending on whether you're going with Native American lore or but those are just entities that take over other entities. But in research, I did find out you can use it for pretty much the same as chupacabra. So boundary, trying to find out if someone is like, impersonating you. I should send a wendigo out to Nigeria for my Nigerian stalker. Just realized that. Anyway, but they did, in my research, like very much proceed with caution. Yeah. Working with things like chupacabras and wendigos, however you pronounce it, definitely proceed with caution. Yeah. Because it can get a little dicey.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that with deities and like angels and even demons, like, it's pretty straight line. Like, be specific. Also expect the unexpected, be respectful, like you're good. Anything working with any of these entities, the fae, trickster gods, all of these things, we actually have an article on the site that's about magic that comes with a warning label, right? And it's like, you got to be careful with these. And I would definitely try to, if you were going to do magic with a chupacabra, for example, like try to create a relationship first and not just send a chupacabra out at somebody.
Yeah, and it's a big and it's a big thing too, definitely to point out here. You have to 100% understand the energy that you are working with, because there are like mermaids, okay? Generally speaking, if you're going to work with like a mermaid or a dragon, dragons I don't think I've never had a bad experience with dragon for like protection or strength or anything like that. There are entities, deities, beings that do work in basically love and kindness. So they're going to help you change, transform, do your magic in a loving way, you know, in a gentle way. They're going to help guide you. Right. That's not going to be the case when you're working with things like chupacabras, wendigos, the fae sometimes, depending on which type of fairy you're trying to work with. But even deities. So like, if you think that the Morrigan or Hecate is going to lovingly guide you softly into a path, that's not how you have to understand the energy of what you're working with in order to understand that this entity, this thing, this deity could flip your life upside down, but in the
Oh, yeah.
end, you're going to get what you asked for.
It's true.
It's just going to come with destruction and rebirth and rebuilding, rather than, lovingly being set on a cloud and pushed out into your new beginning.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Which is why relationships is so important with anything.
Yeah.
Establishing that relationship beforehand. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And always being respectful, like respecting the entity for the entity's identity and characteristics and personality.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if I were to work with, I'm just looking it up as you were talking, but if I were to work with the javelina, which is a wild hog that we have here in Texas.
I had those here.
Like, yeah, okay. That's a little chaos demon on four legs, right? And if you wanted to work with that animal, send them in, to take care of a situation, there would probably be all kinds of fallout from that.
That, and I would think too, so a lot of people don't know javelinas, the reason that they're so ornery and angry is because their vision is shit. Mm-hmm. They can't see far. So all they see is a blur of something, and then they go into fight or flight, and they go into attack mode.
It's always fight. It's always
fight. It is. So you have to think about that if you're going to work with the javelina, is basically you're not going to see the lesson until it's smacking you in the face. That's the energy that's going to come along with the javelina.
Right.
So you can't expect to be warned about something miles in advance, or like, this change is coming up for you in the near future. It's going to smack you in the face.
That's when you talk to your hawk guide. Your hawk guide can give you the big 360 perspective and, the bird's eye view, right? Yeah. Not something like that. Yeah. Well, one of the animals I looked at was the beaver, which I didn't think about beavers so much, but I love that beavers, they build dams that are their homes, but it's kind of like, what if you had you created a dam spell, a dam spell, but a DAM spell, and where it's emotional protection, and it's protecting your energy and all that. I thought that was really cool. But beavers are also known for building reality from their dreams. So, it's like if you're wanting to take something that you've been inspired to dream about at night and build it into reality, call on beaver energy for that. And I was just like, ooh, I need to do that.
I love that.
Yeah. But I got a little away from things with the javelina. Was there anybody else that you wanted to mention?
No, we can move over to animals. I thought it was a great transition into animals, actually.
Yeah,
so.
I just wanted to make sure we were cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
Well, the other one I found too. So I love lizards. I think lizards are super cool, especially if you have like a little bit of an aversion to snakes, because a lot of folks do. Lizards have a lot of the same characteristics as snakes, right? So they're shedding the skin, it's transformation, it's regeneration. And some of the other things that, depending on the lizard, that can come up are like lucid dreaming, past life access, all of these things. So, if working with a snake feels a little weird for you at first, try a lizard, try a gecko.
I don't like lizards either. It's just the thing. I don't know what it is about the scaly dry things. I don't like it.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, then might be interested in the badger. Because the whole like honey badger thing, honey badger don't care, which I think is hilarious. But when we look at kind of the energies of the badger, it's the unapologetic healer. So honey badger don't care because honey badger's not putting up with your shit. So badger is great for those fierce boundaries that may be just a little less chaotic than a chupacabra, maybe. Also root work and herbalism and your sacred rage. So, using justice magic, boundary setting magic, kind of digging deep into yourself. Any sort of like spell jar, person, anything you bury in the ground, you can call on badger energy too to kind of carry that magic out for yourself.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right. A lot
I
of
work a
fun.
lot with cat magic, apparent, and I didn't even look. I misunderstood the assignment this morning when we were texting. So, like, I went completely mythical. I guess I forgot about the whole animal magic, but at least my knowledge here, I'm good. But I did wear my Crowley earrings today.
Yes.
Just by happenstance, because I was like, oh shit,
love
I don't even know, didn't know we were going to go, like, really into animal magic.
Yeah.
But I definitely, you had just mentioned, you know, magic, spreading magic. That's what, so for me, cats are all about magic, mystery. They can see things that humans can't. Walking to the beat of your own drum, because cats don't give a shit.
Cats do not care. They do not care.
No cares, no fucks given at all.
No.
And I mean, we have 3 cats now. We did have 2 dogs. They both died last year. So we're definitely just an animal family. We've had a hedgehog, a bunny, a ferret. We've never had a ferret. Colin did when we were dating. We've had chickens. I mean, we're just animal people. But we have the 3 cats now. Each cat has their own personality. So especially, like, if I am really feeling like I'm not... if I really feel like I am caring too much about what other people think, I'll go to Kitty in a heartbeat. Because Kitty is like, she gives no fucks about what anybody thinks about her.
It's so true.
And it's all about her, you know, like in a good way, you know? You know, Crowley's my cuddle bug. That's what I call him. So if I need that comfort, he's the one I go to. And then him and Castiel will both do rituals with me. Like they want to be in the room, because cats can help you boost your magic. And they can help you. They love to travel between the worlds. So that's their whole thing about being able to see things that humans can't, is that they can travel between the worlds. So I always use them as a guide as well. So like if they're starting to stare off down the hallway, I'm like, what's down there? What are you guys seeing? So that's a big one that I probably actively work with on a regular basis, is cat energy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I can totally see them. It's like I want a piece of art, like with all 3 of them, kind of like the Hecate, like 3 faces. Yeah, because they're 3 different personalities. They're so fun. They're cutie patooties.
Yeah.
See, and I love my doggos, and dogs are very grounding. You know, they're very much like of the earth, and of course they're very protective. And so I've had dogs that will kind of stare off into space like cats will. So there's some dogs that are like really in tune with those other realms and spirits that are in the room. So we had a Shih Tzu when I was a teenager, and George would just like stare off into the space, and like you could tell he was looking at something or listening to somebody, and it's like you'd have to like get his attention away from whatever that was. So it's just really interesting to see what our animals pick up on.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And we have a couple of tattoos of our animal guides.
We do. I
can share a story.
So for those watching on the YouTube or the Patreon, this whole sleeve here is my spiritual sleeve, or half sleeve. But yeah, right along the back here, this is my snake with an apple. It has a couple of different meanings. The first is Avalon, because snakes were believed to be druids, and Avalon, very Celtic, but very druid based as well. So that's where the apple comes from. I also have I saw it on a bumper sticker, and it just stuck with me, and that was Eve was framed.
Nice. I love that.
I love it. It's one of my favorite sayings. So that, again, the snake for Eve, you know, being framed in the Garden of Eden. But at the time in my life when I got this, I was going through a lot, and I was getting ready to make a huge life shift. And I knew that snakes were all about transformation, shedding your old skin, being reborn, rebirth, but also very spiritual. Snakes are very much tied to psychic abilities and all of that. So being the fact that I was a tattoo artist, I started with the tattoo in order to work with the energy of the snake. by the way, dude, that is backwards. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is just because I was addicted to tattoos, or that was a form of expression for me for a very long time. So don't get a tattoo and then work with the energy. To work with the energy first, and if it seriously resonates with you, or you have a dream, or you do something, then get the tattoo.
Right.
But yeah, so the snake has always, and let me tell you, to this day, I still hate snakes. I'm not a fan of snakes. I will not hold a snake. It's very hard for me to watch a snake on TV. Yeah. We go to a zoo. I skip the reptile enclosure completely. Yeah. But I understand the symbolism, and I understand that the more I actively try to repel snakes from me, the more that they will just show up.
That's the truth.
So when we've had them in our house, we've had them in our backyard, we kept having them show up, and I was like, okay, fine. So I started working with the energy and at least embracing the symbolism of a snake. Yeah. And now the physical ones are like, okay, she at least works with our energy. We'll stay away. But yeah, that's a big one for me is snake energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and mine is my tiger tattoo here. And she is there as a result of a dream. And this was years before I had gotten my first tattoo. It hadn't really even occurred to me to get tattoos. So I was just like, oh, okay, I will if something like, how we all start, right? It's like, oh, if something's meaningful, then I will. That goes away pretty quick. It's just like, ooh, that's cool. Put it on my body. I need an adult sticker. Thank you. But I had a recurring set of dreams where it was kind of like a series of dreams in which this tiger was following me. And the dream kind of culminated in this final one where I'm like reaching out to touch this tiger and it takes my hand in its mouth. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I'm hearing this voice behind me that's like, it's okay. You're the tiger's you, you're one and the same. And like, my arm kind of starts disappearing into the tiger, and then the tiger kind of disappears into me. And in my dream, I had a whole full arm tattoo of a tiger because the tiger was in me and part of me. And I was like, okay, so then I started looking into the tiger and their kind of solitary nature and where they live and all. And I'm like, okay, I'm really resonating with this energy. And so it was always in the back of my head. I'm like, if I ever get a tattoo, that's going to be it. So it was actually just the way it kind of worked out. This was my third tattoo, but this is the one that like I kind of forget I have, despite the fact that it is my entire forearm. Mm-hmm. I forget I have this because it's like it's energetically and spiritually been there for like 11 or 12 years.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 years old at this point. So yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting how animals show up for us. I get a lot of times when I'm in meditation, my tiger will show up. Sometimes a squirrel, which is interesting because I'm not a big squirrel fan in real life. I'm always afraid they're going to attack my feet. Well, so the university I went to, there's all these domesticated squirrels on campus because everybody's just like, oh, they're so cool. And they'll like come up and eat with you and all that. They're literally, I've had squirrels like run at me to like say, hi, human.
Oh,
yay. And
gotcha.
I'm like, okay. So I always felt weird like walking around in like shorts and flip-flops on campus in certain areas. Like if I knew I had to go certain ways, I'm like, I'm wearing closed-toed shoes and jeans. Doesn't matter if it's 105 out. Like I'm not dealing with these squirrels. So, but sometimes squirrels, sometimes hummingbird will show up, and other animals will kind of present themselves in meditation with me. So, or in real life. I don't know if you heard that.
I usually have snakes show up in meditation.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially when so they're a precursor now for me. Like if a snake shows up, I know that I'm getting ready to go through something.
Oh.
And it can just be a little one at this point. I've been working with snake energy for so long. But now I'm wondering, so we have alley cats around our house, and one of them had kittens. And like a couple of houses down, she had kittens. But I was working out yesterday and I was doing my stretches and something caught my eye out of the window next to me. And here comes Mama Cat with 3 kittens behind her. And so I immediately grabbed my phone and started recording. But so normally like we've been feeding her for a year probably, just whenever she shows up in our backyard. And she saw me at the window. And she came right up to the window and was meowing at me. And so I was like, okay. So I'm like, I can speak animal. I can speak animal. I swear I can. And I was like, well, okay. She's got her kittens. She's not hissing at me. She's not being like, get away from my kittens. She's coming up to me and she's asking for something. So I'm like, she's hungry. And she's showing me her kittens, which means she trusts me. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I went and fed her, and the little kittens, oh my God, they ate, they played under, we have like an overhang with all kinds of fun things out there. It was probably, I told everyone here, I was like, of course they're going to come back. We gave them a 5-star hotel with room service. She came up to the window, meowed at me, and I brought her a tray of food, you know.
It's so sweet.
But now and they played all like in Colin's garden, and then they went to sleep. So they were comfortable enough to sleep. And I'm like, okay, so now I've got hella cat energy. And not only that, but like playful kitten energy. Yeah. So I'm like, which she didn't show up today, but we had another alley cat in the yard today that had picked up their scent.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to like shoo him off and make sure that he doesn't come back so that the mama and the kittens will. But now I'm like, I just realized, now I've got more cat energy and kitten energy in my life now.
Yes.
So I'm really excited.
And I had this vision of Jon Snow, your dog who's passed, for listeners, like being out in the backyard saying, it's okay, it's safe here. I love cats. You're good.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully tigers won't show up at my door, because then that's a whole like Siegfried and Roy thing that I do not need in my life. But yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. Oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have in terms of today's episode.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. We have all kinds of stuff. We went from angels to like cats and tigers. So
I know.
That's
great. Love it. I love it. Do you have a card for us this week?
I do. I'm going to pull from the Fluster deck. What is something you're good at that no one in the group knows about?
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Wow. Why does that make us think so much?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What is something?
Well, I think it's because you and I know each other so well.
Yeah,
that's
That's true.
So I can pick up just about any instrument and play, a few notes on it that sound good. Like, I'm just very musically inclined. So I learned the Native American flute several years ago, and it was just like, oh, this is what I play now.
I love that. That's the way my son is, and I'm so jealous because I can't play. I can, like, maybe on a keyboard I can like ding 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 ding, and that's it. That's no drums, no guitar, no nothing. I can't. So I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's my answer.
I still have no idea, because I think it's probably because I share so much, or
you do, yeah.
Or it's one of those shadows coming through, like, don't brag. You're not good at you're not good at stuff. Don't brag.
So I know this. I don't know if a lot of people do, but you are really good at identifying shadows. Like, you're excellent at identifying those in yourself and in other people. And like, a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am good at that. I think what needs to come along with that is slight compassion, because sometimes I'll just blurt them out.
Oh no.
I'm also very good. Okay, this is a good one. I am great. I am absolutely great at playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
Really bad. Like, I could almost sit here and argue absolutely anything that you want me to, like, if somebody were to take us, and it could be absolutely horrible shit, I could probably argue it.
Wow.
And it's just,
that's awesome.
It's because I can see both sides, and plus probably 10 more sides of just about every situation out there.
Yeah.
So I'm really, so yeah, if it's one of those things, like, if I don't think anyone's ever used me for this, it would be great if they did. But if anybody ever was like, I have this great idea and I can't see any flaws, or I can't see the opposite of it at all, like, what would it be? If anybody were to come with that, I'd be able to tell you 27 things that are either like just the playing devil's advocate. And it's gotten so bad that there are certain board games out there where you're supposed to play devil's advocate, or you're supposed to bullshit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people, so I'm so good at playing devil's advocate that I can spit stuff out of my mouth and like very quickly. And even Colin will look at me and he'll be like, I've been married to you for 25 years. And he'll be like, I don't know if you're bullshitting me right now. like do you really believe that? And I'm like, no, not at all. And he's like, how did you argue it so well? And I'm like, it is a gift. So yes, I do have the gift of playing devil's advocate or arguing bullshit or making bullshit up, and I will convey it in a way where everyone is like, is she serious right now? Like, is that real? Do we need to Google this? And I'm like, I don't know, do you?
I will say, you can deadpan like really well. I've seen you do it where you're just like, this is what's going on. I'm like, really? Are you bullshitting me? Because I feel like you're bullshitting me, but I'm not sure because I can't tell. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Good. Which is also really fun because I can't lie either. So like, that's the weirdest thing ever. Like, if I were to actually have to cover something up in my life or lie, you'd be able to tell it all over my face. Like, I'm not good at hiding things like surprise parties or presents or gifts or anything like that. Like, so it's this weird balance. It's this weird dynamic within me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
So yeah.
I love that. Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. So if y'all want to follow us along, please like, subscribe on all of your major podcast apps, Spotify, Apple, and so forth. You can find us at Two Witches Talking on Instagram. We are also Two Witches Talking on Patreon, where our full videos are posted each week. And those same full videos are posted on the Inked Goddess Creations YouTube. Just go into podcast and you'll find ours right there, along with Morgan's, Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy, which is becoming like a really fun kind of dual podcast experience because some of that stuff shows up here. And you can email us at TwoWitchesTalkingPod@gmail.com with your feedback on episodes, with your witchy confessions, with your spells that worked really well or didn't work, or your requests for episode topics, just like this one. So let us know. And thanks for being here. This was fun.
This is a good one.
Yeah. A really good one. All right. Stay magical, y'all, and take care of yourselves and your loved ones out there. And stay hydrated because it's hot.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.